Hello, this is JP with the Voice of Tradition, and today I'd like it to talk about something I found very interesting on Matthew Raphael Johnson's, Father Matthew Raphael Johnson, who also has a PhD, on his site, the Ontology of Light. Now, I came to notice on how he elucidated on the fact that the West completely missed the point on the ontology for something like light. Because light is not a solid matter. It's not a solid form of something. Light is something that exists in the universe, obviously, that God created. And it's an uncreated energy of God as well. So the West missed the boat on that, and him criticizing the Renaissance for it is a good criticism, is a criticism that I always have had when it came to the ontology of something like light. Newton, being one of the fathers of physics, was one who was a devout Christian, one who actually believed in God and knew something was up with that. However, he did not go into any true physics on the ontology of light or regarding it as something as otherworldly. He had to, in his own scientific mindset, recognize that it was a part of the physical realm. The problem with that being is that light, which comes from God, and which is the light created within us and with everything that God has obviously created, is not recognizing our own divinity. And through the practical mindset and scientific applications, that just reaffirmed the faith. But with that being said, and how humanist leaning the Renaissance was, and reigniting Aristotle, Plotinus, and the other Greek philosophers in their humanistic approach that led away from the ontology of light of what the Church Fathers prescribed, like the energy's essence distinction of St. Gregory Palamas. So we have to be careful with that. And once again, Father Matthew Raphael Johnson points out that anything can be traced back to the existence or the reaffirmation of God. Now, when you have those Renaissance thinkers trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, then they have, at their own fault and at their own volition, an omission of God within their science. So whether it be by omission or commission, like I said, with a guy like Newton, there is one thing that holds science back, and it's always something like what the Church Fathers have already prescribed. In particular, the essence energy distinctions, like St. Gregory Palamas has already described. So within the ontology of light, there is a truth there. There is something that science cannot put its finger on. Something that Newton, who himself was a devout Christian, couldn't put his finger on. So that gives way to something more valuable, and reasons being that the Church Fathers obviously explained, well, as much as they could, the essence energies distinctions and the uncreated energies of God, that being light of light, or true light of true light, true God of true God. So, with that being said, that is one of those things where we have to be careful with it. And we have to know that there is something transcendent. There is something that we cannot explain. And that something would be God.